Good Morning Night Vale is brought to you by The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine, a new independently produced and crowdfunded 10-episode original audio drama. Set in a deceptively familiar world of electronic surveillance and machine-mediated communication, The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine follows Lydia Ryan and her friends, lovelorn Ethan and wannabe internet sensation Dee, as they struggle to unravel the mystery of her mother's disappearance. Escape the sinister Fontaine family, and survive the feud over her grandfather's supernatural legacy. It weaves bitter family drama and high-stakes intrigue with fantasy and cyberpunk elements to create a surreal mystery about secrets and grudges, old books, big data, and the promise of infinite knowledge. And do not forget the talking birds. It's a full-cast production with original music and a bespoke soundscape presented through a series of found-footage-style surveillance recordings. And it's important to note, this show was made entirely without generative AI. Even the computers are voiced by human actors. Episodes are free, and you can start listening right now with the Season 1 finale due to come out on August 16th. For more information, go to lydiadisappears.com. and find The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine wherever you get your podcasts and start listening from the beginning.
Insurance isn't one size fits all, and shopping for it shouldn't feel like squeezing into something that just doesn't fit. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they show you options that fit your budget. Enough hunting for discounts, trying to calculate rates, and tinkering with coverages. Maybe you're picking out your very first policy, or maybe you're just looking for something that works better for you and your family. Either way, they make it simple to see your options. No guesswork, no surprises. Ready to see how easy and fun shopping for car insurance can be? Visit Progressive.com and give the Name Your Price tool a try. Take the stress out of shopping and find coverage that fits your life, on your terms. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Which came first?
The chicken, the egg, or airplanes?
Good morning, Night Vale. Hello, I'm Hal Lublin, the voice of Steve Carlsberg and your soul.
I'm Cecil Baldwin, the voice of Night Vale and myself.
And I'm Symphony Sanders, the voice of Tamika Flynn and your libido.
What?
And and we are all cast members of Welcome to Night Vale and talking about Welcome to Night Vale because we be meta. Today is, what is today? Wednesday, yes.
It is Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday, August 4th. I had to look at my computer because I have no idea what day it is. And normally, as you know, we have our sweet friend Meg Bashwiner here. But we have a very sweet and special guest host, Cecil Baldwin, with us because Meg decided to produce a whole nother human. She spored herself, I think.
Did she decide to, or did it just happen to her?
I don't think it was thrust upon her. I think it was a choice she made. She got to a crossroads and a tiny man was like, "You have two choices, young lady.
Come.
You shall have a child."
I was thinking, it was like immaculate. I was thinking like, it was like immaculate conception. Like she just woke up. She's like, oh crap, I'm having a baby.
Well,
turns out it was more like Ralph Macchio's Crossroads. Now, not only does she have a child, but she's really good at blues guitar. You'll see her beat Stevie Vai to free her soul from the devil.
Legit. The Meg Bashwiner story.
But no, Meg will be back pretty soon.
She's on mama leave.
Yeah,
we're gonna enjoy our time with our fave babe, Cece Bow Wow.
Hell yeah.
Cece Bow Wow. Please welcome to the stage, Stephen Bow Bow.
Billy Baldwin is here.
Here to do the episode description.
Cesar Chavez.
Cesar Chavez.
This week is National Alternate History Week. plus an update on the Beatrix Lohman Memorial Meditation Zone, a warning from the National Weather Service, and Children's Fun Facts Science Corner.
Let's talk about it, y'all.
Oh man, alternate history, you guys.
Wow.
Yikes.
This episode is, it goes deep.
Yeah, and like the thing that I at first it starts out like most Night Vale things, slightly normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a little weird, but
Yeah,
within the realm.
but within the realm of reality. And then it goes off the fucking rails, my dude. Because we're like, okay, yeah, what if JFK didn't get assassinated? What a fun little mind game we're going to play. But then you get wrapped up in what that would mean. And then
But he also, he stays president
Yes.
forever.
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say the next thing.
Forever.
I was like, that is interesting. Because once they got past, they were like, oh, yeah, and the third term. And I was like, I don't know.
I think that's constitutionally illegal.
The Constitution,
Yeah,
though.
pretty sure they stopped that after FDR. He was the
Yeah.
last one. That's it. And the only
But
one.
he's got good hair.
He's good hair. And then
So-
Jackie Kennedy slowly
I
deteriorates.
love this story.
She just
Yeah.
fades away as a person over the course of this takes place over what 120 years, something like that. Oh yeah,
1,000 years. Yes. It goes to the heat death of the universe.
that's right. That's right. In my brain, it stopped at 2080, but I know it goes further.
No, it has that moment in which it's like the climate change. We're all living in the coastal cities have been abandoned. But then after the weather, it's like nebulous heat death
Yeah.
universe spiral.
And they're just
Forever.
like floating out in the
And
nothingness.
they're like doing a Chekhov play or like a Beckett play out in the middle of the universe.
Have you ever seen the movie The Adventures of Baron Munchausen?
Oh my God, I love that
Of
film.
course,
Yeah.
yes.
That's like one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, it's
great.
It's that and Labyrinth for me.
Total cult hit.
It made me think of the part that like Robin Williams plays. They're like the
King of the Moon.
disembodied
yeah.
heads. Yes, the King of the Moon. It's like, battle.
It made me think about the never-ending story.
Okay.
In which like everything has been like busted apart.
Oh, and the nothing.
And they
Yeah.
only have that one grain of sand.
Yeah.
And they're just like floating in the middle of nothingness. And she's like, listen, you can rebuild
Say
it.
my name, Bastion.
But it's past that.
Yeah.
In which there's literally nothing left. And they're just,
It made me think of 2001.
oh my God. Oh, absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
just bizarre.
I love all these classic movies that we are like, this is our young lives of the shaping of our mental capacities. And it's all pretty bleak. And you people wonder why Gen X is fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't care about anything because we know there's nothing.
No, we don't. Because we were like, everybody came before us. They were assholes. And everybody came after us. Y'all got ADD and can't focus on anything more than like 2 minutes. So
Yeah.
fuck y'all, I'm out.
Enjoy watching
Like-
Midnight Cowboy. You won't be able to get through 15 minutes of it. It's too slow for you.
Yeah. Too slow.
You're like, you know what? I'm just going to blink out of existence here.
Do you all like alternate history or alternate history fiction? Have you ever read any of that stuff or seen that?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorites to throw out there?
There's an article I read that somebody wrote of some piece of fan fiction that I thought was so well written that it stands out. It's my favorite alternate history. And it is a story in 1975 when Saturday Night Live first started. There was a running joke that Lorne Michaels was offering the Beatles $1,000 to reunite on the show. And he would even say, like, if you want to give Ringo less, that's fine. And the legend goes that in real life, the night that he did that, Paul McCartney and John Lennon were hanging out in Strawberry Mansion or Strawberry Field, wherever he was living at the time. And they thought about actually coming down to collect. And in this story, as they're watching, there's a knock on their door and Ringo shows up with George. The four of them go and reunite and play like a 5-song set that leads the band to get back together. John Lennon never gets assassinated because they're over in London filming the Muppet Show.
Oh my God, yes.
They do like Live Aid and go on tour, but then eventually George dies and John, like they all still go. And the punchline of the story, or the big reveal, is that Ringo is a Time Lord who's been going back to try to keep them all alive and together.
Oh, I love that.
And I thought it gave me chills. My hair, I'm getting the goosebumps right now just talking about it, but I love that particular piece of alternate history I think is real cool.
That's
I
awesome.
love that. I
That's
love
awesome.
that.
Sci-fi though. What about you?
This isn't exactly alternate history, but it's that it's more a Mandela effect thing. But
yeah.
I specifically remember this. The movie Shazam or whatever, when it's like Sinbad played a genie. I swear to God, I remember it. I swear. I remember seeing like previews for it. Like I know it's mental illness, isn't it? But like
you got holes in your brains.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Put those there in college. So but yeah, that's I'm like, oh, that's so funny. But I find the idea of like a sliding doors sort of like what would have happened if, I find that fascinating. I think about those things all the time. And partially because I'm very clumsy, as most of you know, and there's been times where I'm like, oh, I almost fell and like broke my neck. Like, what if I died? What if I had died?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I fell in a bathtub once and hit my head, and I think I'm living a weird reality from when I actually died.
You're the girl who lived.
Right?
You're the symphony that survived.
Wow.
And like 999 of the other symphonies
Busted her skull open in that
didn't fucking make it.
like iron tub.
I have at least two of those kind of near death or near like, one is near death. The other one's like, I was almost paralyzed from like the waist down when I was a kid. And it was just by happenstance that I'm not.
Wow.
Yeah. And every once in a while, like when I think about those moments, I like get all tingly, like, because you realize just how fragile, how fragile and precious this stupid little existence each of us has, that you're just like, oh yeah.
Our stupid little meat sacks.
Yeah. And I was sober for both of those times, which is the other like no excuse. So I have there's a novel I really love that is like, I wish that somebody would throw a ton of money and make this into a film, and it's called The Years of Rice and Salt by Kim Stanley Robinson. And I'm not a big sci-fi reader, but Kim Stanley Robinson is a big sci-fi writer. But I just stumbled upon this book, and its alternate history is like, what if instead of the bubonic plague, the Black Plague, wiping out like 50% of Europe, what if it wiped out 99% of Europe? And so white people just became extinct.
Oh, wow.
And so it follows the history of the world from the Middle Ages to now, if the power center had shifted to like India, Asia, the Middle East.
Wow.
It's fascinating. So like the Renaissance still happens, but it happens in Iraq. And feminism still happens in the 70s, but it happens in Norway when the people have colonized it. And like America's still discovered, but it's discovered from the West Coast, not the East Coast. And just the way this book unravels, like all that is, I loved it. And it was very cinematic when I read it. And I don't know. I really wish somebody would make a movie.
Oh, wow.
Can I tell you that my favorite part of this alternate reality in this episode was that Ronald Reagan.
Oh my God, I know. I wrote a note about that. How funny.
I wish that had really happened. Yeah. It's like he was never president, and he was just a shit actor.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, the attraction of an alternate history is seeing how the dominoes fall. Like, yes, if JFK had not been assassinated, it would have been the prevention of a national tragedy that is like a huge American cultural touchstone. But is it true that in 65, 66, because he was already reelected, he would have pulled out of Vietnam because politically, it would have been a political morass for him. He already had the votes. He was on his way out at that point. And how many lives would that have prevented? Or maybe we would have learned that he, like any elected official, is horrifically flawed.
He would have just done everything his own self. It's just listed. Right. After the Cuban Missile Crisis, you got to be like this. Come on. He was he was out to do whatever the fuck he wanted to do.
Yeah, this is a much different era in terms of the use of military force. It was wielded in a different way, but also the exact same way that it can be wielded and is wielded often today. But all those little things, the idea of Ronald Reagan, like, oh, Ronald Reagan's just an actor. Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and it's possible he wouldn't have become governor of California. Like, you don't know how things would have shaken out in terms of him getting into politics. And
it's the butterfly effect, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know. Like even if little things can cause that big of a change on the other side of the world, imagine if like something as the American president were completely different.
Yeah. I mean,
I actually have a friend who is convinced that Brexit is the thing that like put all of us into this like bullshit timeline that we're in right now. Like starting with Brexit, then the Trump Clinton like election and all that. It's just been COVID, like everything, just tumbling dominoes. Like Brexit should have just never happened.
Yeah.
And we would be like,
Yeah.
we'd be super healthy and, you know, not sequestered in our fucking Lambda Delta viruses, like all that sort of shit.
Well, I've heard that we got thrust into an alternate universe when the CERN the collider.
Oh, yeah. When
they started that up. And then
starting bouncing atoms off each other, willy-nilly style.
That's right. And we got busted into another thing, and that's why Trump poo poo pee pee was put in.
But you know what? Here's the thing. Here's the thing about all this is that yes, life is shit, right? Like slow drag off cigarette. Life is shit.
Life is shit. Means nothing. Nihilism.
But you know, here's the thing. It could be worse.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like when I think about alternate history, you're like, remember, as shitty as your life seems right now, as weird as the timeline that you're, you know, like, I don't know, I saw something to whatever fucking weirdo news footage, you know, you're just like, could be worse.
I mean, it's been pretty wild and weird and wacky. I mean,
this has been a rocky 2 years.
Murder Hornets.
Think about Murder Hornets.
Yeah.
Brood X or whatever. There was that hole that they found with a bunch of organisms that they had never heard of before. You know, all this stuff. I mean, whatever. I'm going to die soon.
But you know what? They also found like an ancient Egyptian mummy princess that had weed buried with her. So like you would have missed out on that.
Yeah.
You know?
Tight. That was me.
That's your Egyptian weed princess forever.
That was you actually going back in time to prevent this timeline.
Yes.
And you just got...
That's a future Symphony that went back in time to become a princess. And I was like, grab a few nugs on the way.
And then you just got caught. And then you're like, fuck it. I'm not going back to 2022.
No.
I'm staying right here.
Some weird TVA Loki thing happening.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It's interesting that this episode not only deals with alternate timelines, but also the idea of things being erased from history.
Yeah.
Talking about the Beatrix Lohman Memorial Meditation Zone that people have problem with. They decide to scrub it from history. They're not going to teach it anymore, which is a real thing as we try to recover the history that has been erased and marginalized by white people for super long time. And that's, you know, I mean, who knows how many things I don't know if either of you think about this a lot, but I spend maybe what feels like a disproportionate amount of time thinking about the people and events that are important historical people and events that we may never know about because of how deep they've been buried and erased and just forgotten about. Like, what is the true history of anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That is, unfortunately, you know, they say the history books are written by the
winners, the conquerors.
People who win.
Yeah.
Right, the conquerors. And I feel like in many parts of our country, they're still trying to erase the history of the people that came before us and people who have been influential who are not the people who wrote the history books. And that's so unfortunate. And we end up losing so much knowledge that we could benefit from. I even think about the information on how we should be planting things and repopulating our flora and our fauna. And like, look at the national park system when all these white dudes are like, you know what? I don't want mess. So we're not going to plant any more female trees, only male trees, because they don't produce fruit. That's keeping people from being able to get food sources from the land. And also it's increased because male trees create all the pollen. So, people getting sick and more asthma and more allergies and things like that, those things are directly correlated. But if you had a male and a female tree, we probably wouldn't be experiencing those things. So,
Wait, are you saying that we did it to ourselves, Symphony?
What?
What?
Absolutely.
The monster was man.
Yeah.
It's the calls coming from inside the house.
For real, you guys. Now, it's so funny because when listening to this episode, I thought about the flip side of that, being a Southerner who was born and raised in the South, traveled the world, and then has come back here to share my knowledge with these lovely, beautiful people. I kept thinking about this idea of removing, why do we have to have a conversation about removing a fucking Confederate general from the middle of a town square? Like, why is that even a conversation we have to have right now? Shouldn't that just be a given,
Yes.
Right.
Like, it's shit like that. Like, so if you don't know, I lived in New York for many, many years, but I've moved to this beautiful pocket of Western North Carolina, and I love it here. But having grown up in East Tennessee, I have no patience and I have zero desire to see a rebel flag anywhere, flying in the air, on a truck, on a car, on a hat. I don't fucking care. Shut the fuck up. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, that is the same, if it's very similar, if not the same, to wearing like a swastika. Like that's where that shit lives in my brain. And what's interesting is, having been to Germany and having seen a bit of how the Germans dealt with that period of the 20th century, like, as Americans, like, we're like picking fleas off the animal, but we won't even acknowledge that there's a dog there.
Yeah.
Like, we're just like, oh, fight over this statue. I want the statue. I don't want the statue. Yeah, we have to deal with the big shit, such as admitting that, the Civil War was not about states' rights. It was not about economics. It was about human bodies. That funded economics, that funded states' rights. Like that kind of shit, I have no patience for, being back down south. And I am very vocal about it. And I don't know. So, like, this episode brought up a lot of that, of like, how do we preserve history and how do we sequester history?
Yeah. How do we learn from the mistakes that we made and just be like, now we know better and we won't do that again. Yeah, that was fucked up. But like, I feel like our country can't even admit.
We can't.
Much of us can't admit that those things were wrong.
Yeah.
And like, it's a personal attack on you when that's not what's happening. It's okay to be like, you know what? That was fucked up that happened, and we need to.
But it's also
fix
200 years ago,
right? But we need to do. But some of those things are still being implemented to this day, so we have to fix it, make amends for it, and move forward.
Yeah,
we can't move forward until we're like, yes.
It's like the stages of grief, man. Like looking at Germany, and admittedly, Germany is like, they've got their problems just like anybody else, but they went through those stages.
Of course.
And they processed that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now they're like kind of the only fiscally responsible country in Europe,
Yeah. There's a big issue with understanding the context of history.
Yeah.
And that is why those statues need to go away, because you have to think about who they were built for, who they were built by and for.
Right.
And also, I mean, this idea we have of, I wanted to go back to how it was in the good old days. Like, there are certainly...
When was that?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, there are periods of history, of recent history, like right before I was born, that I thought it would be cool to be a teenager in the 60s or the 70s.
Sure.
And that is a real privilege that I have as a... cis hetero white male, that there are pretty much any period of history is a period of history where
you're pretty good.
As long as they don't know I'm Jewish, I'm relatively safe.
Oh yeah, truth.
So it's
like, as long as you're not trying to get into a boarding school in the Northeast, you're fine.
Yeah. If we can collectively understand, and hopefully future generations are getting better at this. God, I hope, is the idea of like, what was it actually like there? Yes, it might have been like that for me, but it was a horrific, like, I don't want it to be like it was in the 50s or the 60s. There are things about it that I like, but we're way further along now, and we still have miles and miles and miles to go.
Absolutely. I think about that every time I watch a show where somebody goes back to the past, like your Quantum Leaps, your time traveler type shows. And there was one that I saw where one of the group of time traveler people, one of them was black, and he's like, and people are like, oh, well, we'll just go back. And he's like, it's never been a good time for me. Like, I can't think of a time in history.
Umbrella Academy, was that second season of Umbrella Academy? Because I think they have a similar conversation. They kind of go
similar, yeah.
Actually, it's a JFK related, and they go back to the 60s, and like, the black character, she's like, y'all, this isn't cute for me. Like,
right. But that's real. That's real. Like, I think about that, and I'm like, yeah, no, there's not a time that I could go back to that I would be generally treated with any sort of respect, unless
Weed Mummy.
I was the mummy in Egypt.
Everybody respects Weed Mummy.
Sure.
Weed Mummy.
There you go.
Come on.
Are you my Weed Mummy?
I have Weed Mummy t-shirts. I'm selling them right now on Etsy.
Oh my God. Weed. Wow. If Good Morning Night Vale.
Please check out our new merch.
Good Morning Night Vale Weed Mummy t-shirts with like just Brendan Fraser like fighting Symphony with like a bong.
I saw Weed Mummy at the Palladium in 1987. They were opening for Sex Pistols. It was awesome.
Weed Mummy.
Well, like, the version of Sex Pistols that was out then, it wasn't as good as the original.
I'll tell you, if I was going to fight anyone over a bong, it would be Brendan Fraser, and I would for sure win.
He's pretty tall. He's a big guy. He's a big guy.
He's a big guy, but I'm saying I'm ferocious.
Oh, that's true.
Especially when it comes to the blaze and the bleezes.
Weed Mummy will not be stopped.
So I want to pivot. I want to pivot and talk about the Jackie Kennedy character in this, because this to me was the coolest part of this episode. And it kind of touches on like what we were talking about, like alternate, like you were the symphony that survived. In this story, Jackie Kennedy has this like sneaking suspicion, this like existential crisis that she thinks that she shouldn't be there. And she becomes this ghost, like a Shakespearean ghost haunting the Lincoln Memorial for all of eternity. I loved this whole side plot.
And her whole, every time she said something, it felt just like so haunting and like oddly calm, but but she never had like any emotion or anything like that.
She's like Galadriel. If Galadriel had just like kept wandering through the woods,
fading,
and had not gone out to the Greylands and just been like, well, I guess I'm just a shadow forever.
Yeah, there's something to the idea that while she experienced a number of, she lost her husband and then later on lost her son, but she ascended and became a much, she had an entire life after the assassination of John F. Kennedy. She became, she
was chilling on yachts with a millionaire. Like she was doing. Yeah,
she's with Aristotle Onassis and like had her own.
Yeah, she was just fine.
Yeah, she went and lived a different life. So it's, that's the, would you want an alternate history if you knew how everything else turned out? Because let's say I want to change an event like that and it sets dominoes that means I don't meet Jennifer or I don't know any of my friends. It's a completely different life. What do you sacrifice in order to change this? And it doesn't really change anything at all. Or do you end up in the heat death of the universe? Everything's tan and you have a headache.
You know what, Hal? It could be worse. It could be worse.
It could be worse.
Could be worse.
No, I love the fact that the universe is beige. I think that's so like, this is so a Joseph Jeffrey thing of just like, everything just evens out to beige. Like, it just seems very appropriate for those guys to like write that as the end of the universe, not bangs and fireworks. They're like, no, just calmly floating in beige.
Do you feel like, I don't know if the scripts when you get them have the whoever, I assume it has both of their names on it if there are any names on it at all, but.
No, there's no names. It's just. It is a co-written thing.
Even with that, do you know like a Joseph joke versus a Jeffrey joke?
not necessarily joke by joke, but I can usually tell episode by episode, or sometimes I can be like, this started off as a Joseph, but then I think it ended up as a Jeffrey. But usually it's episode by episode. I'm like, oh, this feels very Joseph. Like, and I kind of like put my brain into that. Just because I know I've been working with him for many years, and also outside of Night Vale, I worked with Jeffrey, like back in New York, as a sort of playwright performer. And I'm just like, yeah, I know what he's vibing on right now.
And you guys also have this new podcast, I can't say it all.
Random Horror Generator number 9, is it?
That's it.
That's it.
See,
yeah.
Like we were talking about the last episode, she can't read that good sometimes.
Just read every third word.
Random Horror 9.
Yes, Weed Queen. Yes. We will bring you this podcast.
Yes, Weed Queen. Whatever you say, Weed Queen.
Weed Queen, we are here for you.
Thank
Mama
you.
Hotep. Mama Hotep.
Thank you for joining us, Cece Bow Wow.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, there's a definite, I feel a tone. There's a tone. I mean, who knows if I'm right or if I'm wrong, but in my mind, I'm just like, this feels like a Joseph. This feels like a Jeffrey.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Up next, we hear from fans and friends of the podcast about their theories, comments, and questions. But first, a conversation about this episode's weather, which was Opposite House by Cass McCombs.
Wow, my dudes. This was a psychedelic trip for me. I was like, ooh, I wish I was Weed Mummy right now. You know?
Yeah, this was definitely like, I want to see Cass McCombs like in an outdoor concert, like Summerfest kind of setting, because I feel like that is like kind of spot on for this weather.
Mm-hmm.
Like a nice light IPA and like, you know, a one hitter and like a beach blanket in a field. Like that seems to me like kind of perfect for this music.
It's so funny because he has played some festivals before, including Primavera Sound and Field Day. Just to give you a little bit more about him, he has been active since 2001. This is off of his 2016 album Mangy Love. And most recently, the last album he put out was 2019, Tip of the Sphere. But last year, Spurl Editions published his debut poetry collection, which was called Toy Fables. Toy Fables? Toy Fables. And then he illustrated.
Wow.
Fabus.
I was like, I don't think Fabus is a word, Hal. I don't.
Toy Fabus. He titled Toy Fabus.
It's a toy Fabus. It was a toy Fabus.
A toy.
He got a nice Toy Famous book that he illustrated with his poetry.
Is Hal having a stroke?
I'm doing fine. I smell cold.
Tiny strokes.
But yeah, he also co-headlined with the Meat Puppets in 2014. So
nice.
Is that what you would? I thought it was going to be a completely instrumental at first, for whatever reason.
Yeah, same. But then his voice would like fade in, and I was like, oh, he was definitely lulling me into a nice state of relaxation.
Yeah, his voice reminded me a lot of the dude from Wilco.
Okay.
You know, like as soon as the voice kicked in, I was like, whoa, all of a sudden it's 2001. And I'm like listening to like whatever that Wilco album was that I listened to obsessively in 2001. You know, like I was right there.
Scratch the CD you listened so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like could not go to a house party without somebody playing that fucking album with the 2 Chicago towers on repeat, like forever and ever. Amen.
Well, if you want more info on Cass McCombs, you can go to cassmccombs.com and see everything that he's up to.
I'm starving.
What?
I don't know about you, but I could use something hot, cheesy, and full of questions from our friends and fans of the pod.
Is it salty?
Yes.
It's time for the fan zone.
Yes.
It is salty.
Sometimes.
But we take it just how we like it. Saucy.
A little salty,
A little
salty, a little sweet.
That's
A
right.
little spicy,
Let's dig in.
a little umami.
Ooh.
Time for the FanZone Calzone. Bow, 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 bow.
Cecil Baldwin.
Stay right there. Good Morning Night Vale will return after a brief break.
I have a slice of calzone here. That didn't work. Katie writes, Hal, Symphony, and Cecil, hello again from a Gen Z listener.
Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Oh, we don't know what's happening.
Gen Z correspondence.
I don't know what that is.
Please don't look at us.
Too young, another Gen Z. Please explain to Grandpa Hal how it works. I have had an interesting experience with Welcome to Night Vale in both the lens of a writer and novice actor. I enjoy composing poetry and prose, including my poem, which Hal read so beautifully, that is very absurd and not dissimilar from the tone of the podcast. But more recently, I got the opportunity to perform a monologue in my theater class. I chose, of course, Cecil Palmer's monologue from The End of the Librarian. A live show is really on the edge of is it theater or not, but luckily, my teacher was also a fan of Welcome to Night Vale. He even did a production of Too Much Light Makes the Baby Go Blind a couple years back, so you can tell he's cool.
Aw.
I had a great time working with the monologue and doing a mini live performance for the first time since COVID hit. My question for you is, how do you approach monologues/dialogues for the show in terms of character? Katie, that is a great question. First of all, if you're acting, you're not a novice actor, you're an actor.
Yeah.
You may have different levels of experience or different desires to do it, but once you do it, you're being an actor. There's no, that's it.
If you're performing for your parents and your kid's sister, you're still an actor.
Yes. Yeah, Cecil, do you want to take this? How you approach specifically those live? We've talked about live shows here before and the different energy that you bring, and obviously how good you are, like the innate ability you have to control and conduct an audience. But in terms of how you're approaching it as an actor, specifically when you're doing it what feels like 8 million times, what's the approach like?
Oh man, it's so different. Performing live versus performing on the podcast. I was just on a podcast called Someone's Thunder, and it was with these two women who are casting directors out of New York. And, we got talking about this whole thing about, when you're performing in front of a microphone, it's like performing in front of a TV camera in that the analogy is you're like a sniper, like one bullet, one shot. All of your energy is directly into the microphone. If it happens off mic, it doesn't happen at all, much like a TV camera or film camera. Mm-hmm. But then in the theater, it's like scattershot. Like imagine you with like a Tommy gun, just like, because you're constantly moving and like keeping the energy of the room flowing. But I think that's, I want to bring you guys into this and say that, some of the dialogue, the duets that I have done with each of you have been like probably like some of my favorite moments on stage, like in my career, because I know, Hal, for you specifically, you're such an amazing improvisational performer. Like when I tell people I've worked with some of the best improv people in the world, I mean you.
Oh, geez.
Like specifically.
Thank you. Oh my God.
And Symphony. No, it's true. Because I know I can trust you to like literally our conversations before the show are, okay, so here I'm just going to walk off stage, but then you keep talking and then I'm going to pick you up and swing you around. And we're just like, yeah, that sounds great. Like that's.
Yeah.
And what happens, like, usually we kind of stick to that, whatever we kind of decide before the show. But it's not like we have to sit down with a pencil and be like, I'm going to put my hand here. And then and then we do this lift. And it's not theatery fussy in that way. There's like a little bit of wiggle room. But I know that you're just going to be out in my periphery talking to John, getting people to high five you, like whatever the fuck you got to do. And you'll come back in when you need to come back in. And with Symphony, like you and I have done some of these scenes, like we have done them so many times together, Symphony. So many times. And what I love about you is that when you're performing, it's like you and I will find something that makes us laugh.
Absolutely.
Or that makes the audience and us laugh. And then it's immediately folded into the show forever.
Right.
And sometimes and then even if it has a shelf life and we're just like, that seems weird or it's not really getting the laugh it used to like 20 performances ago, we'll usually like find a way to revive it.
Yeah.
Like, so even though like every audience is different and like every interaction is different, you can't step in the same river twice. That's why live theater is so fucking dope.
Right.
Because some nights you walk out and you just can't be funny to save your life. Or, you know, something really tragic happened to you and you just don't feel like doing anything funny. But that's what the audience wants. Or sometimes you're really feeling the tragic shit. Sometimes you're really feeling the wacky shit. Like every performance is different. But I feel like Symphony, because you and I, we did get the opportunity to perform every single show together.
Yeah.
Like we'll test stuff out. And if it's totally lands on its face, then we'll just kind of look at each other and just be like, well, whatever. And just move on.
We're like, anyways,
turn page.
But like usually we find and I think we do take time to find things.
Yeah.
Because when you've done a show 60, 70 times, you're like, all right, let's try and make a fun moment or like maybe take it one step further or whatever. And, you know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if it does work, that's great too, because we're just happy to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, I love it because we're also able, when it stops working, we're just like, you know, let's find something else.
Yeah.
Or let's find a way to make it work again.
But I think that's also our friendship, though. We're just like,
True.
Well,
Yeah.
that's weird. Let's go over here.
Oh my God. There was some moment, like, I think it was in, like, of course it all blends together because it's all Tamika and it's all you talking about a book. Like, that really doesn't narrow it down at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't distinguish it, yeah.
But I think it was like shooting something out of, you know, just like, okay, so if you shot.
Yeah. The glow cloud.
So we're talking about the glow cloud.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so if you shoot smoke bombs into the glow cloud, and then one day you started making that sound effect.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, oh my God, that's the funniest thing ever. So now I'll just wait and be like, is she going to do it? Is she? Oh, there she goes. And sometimes she does and sometimes she doesn't.
But then sometimes you'll join in and you'll be like,
yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun. And we get to play off each other in that way. So, and it just keeps it fresh and fun and weird. And honestly, it's like our weird conversations, because we also go back to our same room where we're sleeping like 5 feet away from each other and like making cackling sounds in the night.
And I'd say for my part coming in, like in terms of approaching Steve specifically, he's not a complex character in terms of like generally what he says is what he's actually thinking and what he's feeling. Like, you know, a lot of times if you dig into what does this character's want,
there's no subtext. There's no Steve Carlsberg subtext.
He's not saying I love you, but really he's saying I hate you and I'm tolerating you and I just want to keep you here long enough for X to happen. But in the live shows, there's always a turn. So it's always fun to find like what's possessing him. There's something else occupying his body is what I'm convinced of. And that darkness takes over for whatever reason, probably because it's Night Vale. But in terms of playing with you, who's like, it's such a privilege to share the stage with you. And my goal every time with all the physical stuff is for you to feel safe and take care of you. And I see my role when I come into the show or even come into the tour is to be like a shot of energy. Because I get there usually towards the end. You all have been doing it for a long time. You are rightfully tired, but I'm there. I'm excited to be there. It's like a new sort of toy in the toy box. But then also, those early shows, because I came from Thrilling Adventure Hour where everything was super fast, I'm going to push the pace. So, will this, what can I do when I'm out there that's going to make it feel differently? Like, let's play with pace.
The boys always give you these crazy monologues, Hal, in which I think you've talked about this on Good Morning Night Vale before, about it's like, it starts off light and jovial and they're like, oh, Jazz Fest is happening down to the thing. And then half a page later, you're like talking about arms being picked off and shit like that. So I always, one of the things that I love about getting to like be present on stage, but not a part of, like, it's essentially a monologue that I'm witnessing, you know?
Right.
So what I do is I usually I don't read anything about that monologue, and I'll memorize the last couple of words. Almost like kind of like a Shakespearean role, like a script in which you wouldn't get the other person's not lyrics, like lines. You would just get like your cue line.
Yeah, your cue. Yeah.
And then all I do usually is just pick a spot, usually an exit sign at the very back of the theater, and just listen to you.
Oh, wow.
And whatever my reaction is, so that way I'm not trying to plan a reaction or anything like that, but it's just, and also it usually is abject terror. Like, it's about clowns, it's about people dying in the desert, or pets that are eating your face or something. And I just picture it as you describe it without reading it from the page. And those are some of my like favorite guest moments that we've had. Of just like listening to you do your thing.
It's fun. It's really fun to find the level, like for all of us, finding the different levels, like to go, you have to, where you start a monologue and where you end it, needs to be different points. And it can go, 1 to 5 to 2 to 7 but it has to build in a way that makes sense. Even if the words don't make any sense. And I think I love watching people do that.
It just has to be it has to go somewhere, right?
Yeah. I love watching people color.
Up or down, it doesn't matter. It just can't stay at one note the whole time. Angelica writes, "Hi guys. This is kind of unrelated to the show and probably unimportant to anyone but me, but I just recently read in the back of Mostly Void, Partially Stars that Cecil Baldwin has performed at the Shakespeare Theater in DC, which makes me fangirl really hard because I've performed at the Shakespeare Theater in DC with my performing arts school, and I think it's really cool that I have stood and performed where the great Cecil Baldwin has stood and performed. Anyways, I just want to really share that. Haha, Angelica Walker."
Why did she laugh at you at the end?
I don't know.
No, I'm going to take it like she was like, that Angelica was like, oh, I just wanted to be like, haha to all my haters.
It's just LOL.
Haters back
LOL
off.
jerks. I performed where Cecil Baldwin has.
Okay, let me just clarify some shit for you, Angelica, because Angelica, I was an intern at the Shakespeare Theater. Now, yes, I performed in 4 glorious plays there, but I was literally fairy number 3. I was Cobweb the Fairy. I was like Baker's assistant number 2. I was other Lord.
Lord. Wait, Lord like from Australia?
Yeah. I guess that's me.
The singer?
Yes, Lord A.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually Lourdes. I'm actually Madonna's daughter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, crazy. So let's put this in. Yes, I did perform on those stages. I also understudied a shit ton of roles. All of those were like third characters. So let's yes, I did perform at Shakespeare Theater. You probably had more lines at Shakespeare Theater than I did.
Were you at that point excited just to be on the stage? Like had that feeling of like,
oh my God,
it's showtime. We're doing it. I'm here. I have my one line, or I'm in the back, or like whatever it is. You're happy to do it, right?
I would sit in the back and watch every performance because for me, like watching, these Broadway actors, these veteran actors get to I was just like, I get to listen to somebody read this speech, like perform the speech every fucking night. That was my education.
Yeah.
And so while all the other interns who were admittedly kind of poop in the pants, I got like a little poop in the pants intern year. They were like, well, why am I not Romeo and Demetrius and Lysander? I'm like, because bitch, you're 22 and you didn't go to Juilliard. That's why.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I was really excited. I was just happy to be at the party. Pretty much was the way it went.
But now look at you,
You
babe.
are the party now.
Now look at me. I'm some kind of party.
Yeah.
Hey.
As always. Hey.
Hey.
Next up, we have Kelly. Kelly writes, Dear Symphony, Hal, and Cecil, I wanted to keep this short, but I am failing miserably. So I've tried to keep it organized. And if you do choose to read it on air, we are. I'm not remotely offended at needing to cut any of it out, since that's not my purpose for writing anyway. Mind cannons. A list. Night Vale, as we know it, began as some sort of sim universe program that is slowly integrating itself into our universe.
True.
Huh.
Yes.
Are we just going to do true false?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's fair.
Okay. I've thought this since we've learned the nature of the mysterious underground city located beneath the pin retrieval area of lane number 5, because that version of Night Vale is the origin of the simulation, eventually to be displaced by it when Huntokar broke the universe.
True.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Please see previous episode.
The program has been slowly integrating itself into our universe, which is why most corrections are made, as the program is retconning itself, trying to make sense with our reality.
Somebody's been watching too many Matrices movies.
Just watch the first one. That's the only one you need to watch. Isn't that amazing?
The Matrices.
The Matrices.
The Matrices. which is just spelled mattresses.
The mattresses.
Also true.
We're going to go see the mattresses.
Keanu Reeves in the mattresses.
In the mattresses. For this particular episode, episode 92, the program is running some kind of self-analysis to ensure continuity and manifesting itself as a contest for Alternative History Week.
I buy that.
I like that.
Some things are outrageously absurd, like street sweeping and librarians, either because Cecil wrote them that way or because the program, now powered by a literal broken reality, is actively populating missing information. And that's just what it comes up with. It's also likely that it's using the other data that was available in his computer to inform its choices, which is why it always ends up being some kind of eldritch nightmare. Okay.
Somebody's been reading too many William Gibson novels.
I love how detailed this is.
I know, right?
This one's about you, Hal. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Steve Carlsberg is self-aware to whatever degree because Cecil didn't actually give him a backstory. Motivation aside, he started as a filler character, and so the more he interacts with the town, the more the program has to inform his choices, giving away the nature of their universe in the process. Oops.
It feels like the reality of it.
I think that's like the story of like all Night Vale characters. Yeah. Like I didn't even have a name for the first 20 episodes or something. And then they're just like, should we give you a name? Your name's Cecil. Just make it Cecil. Yeah. And I'm like, I guess my name's Cecil. Hi, I'm Cecil. Like that's how all this shit goes down.
Yeah, exactly. The first line I ever did as Steve Carlsberg, Joseph wasn't like, oh, by the way, you two are related by marriage. That came way later.
We're like,
right.
What?
Yeah, like, oh,
way later. You were just a guy that Cecil hates.
Yeah.
Who makes bad scones or something.
Yeah.
But then we fell in love. Next up, the Desert Otherworld is a physical manifestation of a back door, a la Matrices Reloaded.
The mattresses reloaded.
Oh, those reloaded mattresses.
Which would mean the hooded figures are just the program trying to protect itself and its narrative. So it's like, Mr. Anderson.
I'd buy that. I think there's definite some, like Agent Smith, the agent who is not tall, the agent who is not short, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit of that.
Next, mind cannon. Cecil wanted to start the simulation at the Big Bang, but the program required at least one character. Enter Lee Marvin.
the human, Lee Marvin.
Yes. Celebrating his 30th birthday in the 90s, right? Or the 80s? 80s and 90s, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The original Adam.
Yeah. It's Adam and Lee, not Adam and Eve.
Adam and Lee, yes. And Adam and Lee Marvin.
Yeah.
Cecil is partially omniscient because he is the avatar of the creator and so the default narrator of all stories. Okay?
I like Avatar.
You're Tom whatever from fucking Animal Crossing, dude.
Tom Nook?
Oh, yeah. Tom Nook. I'm Tom Nook.
Tom Nook.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm like, it's all got to come from somewhere.
Give me your bells.
All the bells.
Oh, your bells.
And finally, Desert Bluffs was how he could run two simulations within the same universe, making duplicates of most of the characters, but having to tweak their names for input and clarity.
Like
maybe that's why you had to
Mackie
kill your
Mouse
double.
and Ronald Ruck.
Or Spoofy.
Spoofy.
Gooby, please.
Sorry again for the novel. I appreciate you all, and thank you for your investment in this project. Kelly K. Okay, well, that last part sounded like you were our manager giving us a yearly review, Kelly. But thank you very kindly. Thank you for your investment in this project. I'm like, well, yeah.
Is my Christmas bonus in here somewhere?
I do it for the applause, you know what I mean?
I did it all for the nookie.
The what?
The Nookie.
The Tom Nookie.
The what?
The Tom Nookie.
The Tom Nookie.
I did it for the bells.
The what?
The what? Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us. You are all babes, and we love you. The next episode is called Big Sister. But until then, my friends, my family, friends of the pod, good morning, Night Vale. Good morning.
Good Morning Night Vale is a Night Vale Presents production. It is hosted by Symphony Sanders, Hal Lublin, and guest hosted by Cecil Baldwin. It is edited by Felicia Dominguez and mixed by Vincent Cacchione. It is produced by Meg Bashwiner. Theme music by Disparition. Special thanks to our fans for submitting their thoughts this week. Leave us a voicemail at 929-277-2050 or email us at info@goodmorningnightVale.com to share your theories and ask questions or to tell us why August is the Sunday of months. This show is powered by our patrons like Nathaniel Grubbs, Ashley Stern, Kim Pyle, Thora Cottrell, and Chris Broge. If you're interested in supporting this show in exchange for lots of fun, exclusive, insider, hyper cool kid content, check us out at patreon.com/goodmorningnightVale. For more info on this show, go to goodmorningnightVale.com and follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Night Vale Chat. Special thanks to Joella Knapp, Jeffrey Craner, and Joseph Fink. The Calzone ingredient for the week is the urge to buy a new backpack, brought to you by your internal end of August clock.